Noemi said, how can I market a relationship coaching service that offers gradual long-term transformation and requires inner work on the part of the client without discouraging them by the slow progress? Great question. Well, Noemi, where are you zooming in from?
Hi, I'm actually on the other side of the world. I'm in Armenia right now.
All right. Wow. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Um, okay. Right. So this is a good question. I imagine is in some ways on a lot of your minds is what we all want is a quick fix. And yet most of the time there are no quick fixes. There's a kind of a long-term approach. And but that's not as sexy as saying, hey, in a week it's going to be done. But a few things to keep in mind. One, the you'll have it in a week is not credible. It also, what you don't want to do is hit the it's too good to be true thing. So when people say, hey, solve your relationship woes in 1 week, there's a part of people that's like, I don't believe this. I don't buy it. This is not credible to me. So they kind of back off from it. And sorry, just resetting a timer. So it's important to set expectations well, of course, too, because if they walk in with certain expectations that this is going to happen in 3 months, but really it's a year, two things will happen. One, you will get drama, and second, they will get disappointment, and this hurts your word of mouth in your business. So for everyone, it's worth really thinking through the milestones to ask yourself, okay, so many things. The first thing is you got to get clear on your ideal client. Okay, who do I want to work with? Because that's the only person we're marketing to is our ideal client. We're not marketing to anybody else. We're just marketing to them. So we have to get clear who they are. And then we think, okay, for my ideal client, what's the likely timeline of milestones? What's the likely, how long is it going to take to get to a point? Um, and oh my God, there's this, I'm trying to think where there was on Instagram, I saw a great version of this. Let me just see if I can pull it up quickly. Um, but okay, well, let me just give you all an exercise to do while I'm hunting and pecking for this. So imagine you have an ideal client. I mean, they're really a dream client. They show up ready, they want to do the work, they're aligned with your philosophy, they have the problem that you're solving. I want you to think about within 1 week, what can they expect? Within a month, what can they expect? Within 3 months, within 6 months, within a year. If they do the work, what should they reasonably expect by those time periods? Yeah, so I'll give you a couple minutes. Everyone think about that, and Noemi, I'll ask you what you came up with, and
All right.
while I make this. We may do some sharing in the chat too. And you could even say like whether they work with you or somebody else. It's probably most realistic to expect. What can they reasonably expect? Keep in mind, they're a good client, they're working hard. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to find it, but let's just see what we got. So, Noemi, what do you have?
I was writing furiously. Um, so because I work a lot with attachment theory and attachment styles, in the first couple of weeks, they will be able to understand what an attachment style even is and how it affects their relationships. And then they'll identify their own and they'll sort of get a more deeper and more nuanced understanding of that. So we'll be exploring that, which is a pretty big breakthrough for the beginning. Um, and then afterwards, they will learn about their emotions and how they work and all the emotional regulation, nervous system, somatic work. And they will be able to start practicing. So this is just stuff I'm taking out of my practice already. They'll also learn about limiting beliefs and triggers and core wounds and how all of those things come up, how to identify them, and then later on, identify their needs and values. And once they have these things, they'll be able to learn primarily how to work with their own resistance to all the healing and relationship work. So this is what I wrote down in this time period.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, this becomes a really critical thing that you could share in your signature workshop that you can share on your website.
Yeah.
And what we do is we say, look, here's who I work with. This is my kind of bullseye. So we could be a really good fit if the following things are true. If you go to my webinars page, everyone, there's a webinar on ideal client that is I'm very proud of, that I think could help you really hone this. But you take that work and you say, this is who I work with. If
Mm-hmm.
you're this person and you're willing to do the following things, like here's what I require from my side of you. You need to spend this much time doing the work, or generally you have to read these books, whatever it is. But if you're willing to do that, this is what you can expect. In the first week, you're gonna do this. And by the way, some of those milestones might be at 3 months in, you're gonna feel overwhelmed. You can expect
Mm-hmm.
to feel depressed, or like within around 3 months, you're going to hate me. At 3 months, you're gonna. Here's some predictable stages. It's like working out. Okay, the first week you're going to feel probably, or first week you're just going to learn the exercises and kind of figure out your way around the gym, and we're going to design your routine. Week 2, you're going to feel very sore, or week 3, you're going to feel a little less sore. Month 3, you're going to feel very discouraged because you're not going to see like almost any progress. 6 months in, you're going to start to notice you've got more muscle. And within a year, you're amazed, and within 3 years, you're transformed. But this is the timeline you can expect. That builds so much trust and credibility, and it makes then
Mm-hmm.
a case for when you say, look, so if you're going to work with me or anyone, you want to put in at least a year or 9 months or 6 months, you get the result. This is what I think it takes to get from island A to island B, from where you are to where you want to be. And then you just make your case as to why that's so. Here's why I believe it takes that much time, and so those are my thoughts.
Yeah. Thank you. I really like that approach of just being brutally honest about how hard it actually is, because one of the things that I always say in like my content, I'm like, this is not fun unless you're into this kind of stuff, unless you're really into personal growth and healing.
Yeah,
And people are. I mean, the ideal
one
clients
of the
are.
one of the questions you can ask people is, you can say, because how long do you think it takes to get to a place where it is measurably different? How many months or years do you think where it's like they're kind of at the place they want to be? What's your sense?
I think when it comes to like learning what they need to do, they can do that within a few months, but the actual application process takes years.
Yeah. So how many years?
At least like a couple.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that. So what you could say to start off a signature workshop is like, look, I mean, first of all, raise your hand if you have these patterns and these dynamics and these troubles in your relationship. I'll say, oh, yeah, that's me. You say, if I could wave a magic wand and 3 years from now, that's gone, and you are now in this
Mm-hmm.
different, better place, who would want that? Yes. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
it does take this amount of time. And here's why it takes that amount of time. Well, let me just break down the milestones, and here's what you can reasonably expect with me or anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and you make the case for that timeline. Here's why we don't do it faster. Here are the consequences of doing it too much faster. But you just lay it out for people, and then yeah, people decide if they want to work with you or not. But in my experience, when people are willing to do that, there's a kind of somebody's telling me the truth. I
Yeah.
kind of knew this was going to take time. So yeah, you're doing great. You're on track.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tad.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Back up. Okay.